Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to another one of my interviews. With me right now is Jim Nelles. Jim, how are you doing today? I really appreciate it.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, you're one of those guys that's walking around, fighting for freedom, being here at CPAC, just being involved, because sometimes just being here and being involved is a fight in itself. And we overheard you doing some interviews. I said, I got to grab this guy. You got a lot of information that you write about, sounds like.
Yeah, I kind of had my Popeye moment, right? It's all I can stand because I can't stand no more. And it happened to me in Chicago when the BLM rioters threatened to come into my neighborhood and kill police in their homes. And that's when I said, no longer can I just sit on the sidelines and yell at the TV. I've got to start doing something. So I started writing. I started coming to events like this and speaking out on people. One of the things I've been talking about, I just had an 8-piece expose done in the Washington Examiner about the dark money behind urban decay that George Soros is doing. So since 2016, George Soros has funded $40 million into local district attorney races. He now owns 75 district attorneys. They represent 20% of the population, but they also represent 40% of the murders that happen in this country.
Boy, are you serious? Just look at that relationship. Say that again.
For the 20% of the population, 40% of the murders. And if you think, oh, that only happens in big cities, the shooting that happened at Michigan State just a week and a half ago, that was someone who was let out of jail, actually didn't even go to jail. Instead of being charged with a felony for illegal carrying of a weapon, they were charged with having a weapon in a car, got probation instead of being charged with a felony. After probation, this animal bought 2 guns and then used those guns to kill people at Michigan State University.
See, they're always talking about taking away guns of law-abiding citizens because they always want to make more laws to control the purchase of guns. However, the criminals not only find their way around it, but sometimes their charges get reduced or dropped or whatever when they use it to their advantage later.
So one thing, a criminal by definition doesn't care about the law.
There you go.
Name me one criminal who ever said, hey, Joe, we can't go kill Charlie over there because that's a gun-free zone.
Right.
We can't go in there and kill Charlie. The other thing is that when you look at what they're doing with these laws, the one in Illinois is terrible, the one in Michigan now that they just did is terrible. It hurts law-abiding citizens. It makes felonies out of law-abiding citizens who've been trained on how to use weapons. And I have one statistic that will blow your mind. They keep talking about we got to ban AR-15s because they look scary. More people in America die every year falling out of bed than are killed by AR-15s.
You're kidding me?
No. More people are killed by hippopotamuses than are killed by AR-15s.
Oh my God!
So
and hammers cause more deaths than guns do.
Yes. So let's ban beds. If we ban beds, we can save lives. And if we only save one life, isn't it worth sleeping on the floor?
I've never heard that one. That's a good one. So you've given us 2 amazing statistics. The one about George Soros funds 40%. How'd you put that one again? I'm repeating that one a third time for a reason.
He owns 20% of the population through his 75 district attorneys, but owns 40% of the murders.
So 40% of the murders in America happen in districts that he funds.
Correct.
I was looking for another way to word that, to simplify it for everybody.
And there's one other statistic I'd like to talk about because it means a lot to me because I have a lot of friends who are police officers in Chicago. Because of the lack of support for police officers in Chicago, the suicide rate there is incredible. The Chicago Police Department has a suicide rate 60% higher than any other police department in the United States. And we need to fix that. We need to back the blue. We need to support our police. We need to get rid of bad cops, right?
Right, exactly.
But we need to support the ones who are good.
And that right there alone, when you talk about our veterans that are dying every day for the military, and now you're talking about suicide amongst police officers, and the statistic that suicide rates are higher in cities like Chicago, where the murder's higher too.
Correct. And since you brought it up, veterans, before we left Afghanistan, it was 22 veterans a day who commit suicide. It's now up to 23 because a lot of folks who served in Afghanistan are really upset about what happened. And the fact that 23 veterans commit suicide a day and no one seems to care is devastating to this country. But yet, if you sneak across the border, you get a free phone and free health care.
They were over there they signed their name on a check to the United States for no amount and gave their lives for our country to be over there in Afghanistan, and they got taken out, and they watched all of their hard work fall for nothing.
Exactly. And as a veteran, it breaks my heart.
It breaks my heart, too, to see that over there. I think that freedoms in America are under attack. What do you think is the number one way that freedoms are under attack in our country?
I think it's with the wokeism. I look at my children. So I have a son who's graduating from college this year. I have a daughter who's a freshman in college this year. and they've both stayed right so far, thank goodness, but they're afraid to speak their minds. My daughter is bringing her girlfriends to my house next weekend before they go on spring break, and she's like, can you please take all your Trump stuff away? And she's a Trump supporter, but she's afraid her friends won't be her friends anymore.
So you say she's a closet Trump supporter?
She's a closet Trump supporter. But here are other things. This whole cancel culture is insane. I'll give you the best example of why it's insane. They've canceled Gone with the Wind. HBO
exactly.
Max no longer will show Gone with the Wind. Guess what Gone with the Wind has? The first African American to win an Academy Award was in Gone with the Wind. She's now canceled. They're canceling their own folks
exactly.
in order to just cancel other people. You can't say words anymore. You can't say American. You can't say a double-blind survey. I mean, I don't know what's coming next, because it's insane the way that we're just saying that you can't say words anymore. Stanford, I don't know if you remember this, came out with a with their list of words. Not only that we're going to be banned, but we're going to be scrubbed from all their websites on Stanford. Scrubbed.
How do we fight it? How do we protect it? What is your way that you think we can do to fight for our freedoms, stand together for our freedoms?
I'll quote Dave Rubin, who is the one that inspired me to help start writing, as well as with what happened with the police department in New York. Dave Rubin, in his book, Don't Burn This Book, said, you have to stop being afraid to be who you are. And I think that's really important. We have to speak out. If you're conservative, it's okay to say, I'm conservative. If you support Trump, it's okay to say, I support Trump. Write an article, go to a meeting, get on a school board, do anything to help stem the flow of what's happening in this country.
Would it also be accepting people for who they are?
Yeah, because we don't care.
Exactly.
I mean, think about this. CPAC has been the largest group of friendly people I've ever seen in my life. This is my first CPAC.
Exactly.
And everyone's nice. The talent is amazing. There have been talent guys who've spent 20 minutes with me trying to make me better on TV. And I still need a lot of work, believe me. But the point being is that everyone here is nice, and we accept people for who they are. We don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
But our point is, you be who you are, we'll be who we are, but don't put your values on me. Don't make me embrace your values. Let me embrace my values, and we'll go from there. And one of the best examples of this was actually right here in Washington, D.C. About a month ago. There was the Pride Night for the in Philadelphia. It was Pride Night for the Philadelphia Flyers hockey team. And there was one player, a third-line defenseman no one's ever heard of, who said, I'm not going to skate with a gay pride jersey on because I'm Russian Orthodox. It goes against everything I believe. He got killed in the media. One Canadian journalist actually said he should be deported back to Russia and forced to go fight in Ukraine so he can die. But the American people, you know what they did? They made his jersey the #1 selling jersey for a month after that happened.
Cancel culture made somebody rich.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, Jim Nellis, how do people find out more about you?
You can find me on the Washington Examiner, or you can find me on Twitter at Jim6555.
Jim, thank you so much. I got to tell you, I not only appreciate your time, but I appreciate that you are out there fighting for our freedoms in our country and doing everything you can to improve our country.
My pleasure. And again, it doesn't matter what you believe, just fight for it.
There you go, guys. You hear it? Fight for your freedom, stay awake, get involved, and stay tuned for some more interviews here at CPAC. Thank you so much.